There is one relationship that defines the course of your entire life. It's not with your family, your friends, or even your career. It's the relationship you have with your own mind. Your mind can either be your prison, locking you inside fear and doubt, or it can be your greatest ally, giving you the strength, focus, and confidence to rise above every challenge. The question is, who is your mind working for right now? Is it lifting you up, or is it holding you back? Think about it. Every decision you've ever made, every success you've ever reached, every failure you've experienced, it all started in your mind. Before you took that step, before you tried, before you quit, before you won, there was a thought. And that thought either pushed you forward or pulled you down. That's the power of the mind. It's not just something that reacts to life. It's the very thing that creates life. But here's the problem most people face. They allow their minds to run on autopilot. They let fear decide. They let doubt whisper louder than belief. They let negative stories replay over and over until those stories become their truth. They don't realize that the mind is like a powerful machine. It will produce whatever you program into it. If you feed it weakness, it gives you excuses. If you feed it strength, it gives you courage. Imagine this. Two people face the same challenge. One sees it and says, "I can't do this. It's impossible." The other sees it and says, "It's tough, but I'll find a way." Same challenge, different outcomes. Why? Because their minds were wired differently. One mind became an enemy, while the other became an ally. That is the difference between living a life of limits and living a life of possibility. So how do you turn your mind into your greatest ally? It begins with awareness. You cannot change what you don't see. Right now, your mind may be filled with years of conditioning, messages from childhood, fears from past failures, comparisons from social media, doubts planted by others. If you let those thoughts go unchecked, they will control you without you even realizing it. The first step is to catch them in action. Notice when your mind tells you, "You're not enough." Notice when it says, "It's too late." Notice when it tries to keep you safe by keeping you small. That awareness is power, because once you see the pattern, you can break it. The second step is reprogramming. Your mind learns through repetition. The same way you memorize songs by hearing them over and over, your mind memorizes beliefs by repeating them. If you keep telling yourself you're weak, your mind will believe it. If you start telling yourself you're capable, powerful, and resilient, and you repeat it daily, your mind will believe that too. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing which story to believe. Your mind will fight for whichever story you feed it most. The third step is action. Thoughts alone are not enough. You can sit and tell yourself, "I'm confident," all day, but if you never act with confidence, your mind won't change. The fastest way to rewire your mind is through action. Every time you face a fear and do it anyway, you're teaching your mind, "See, we can handle this." Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're teaching your mind, "See, we are reliable." Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're teaching your mind, "See, this is who we are now." Action proves to your mind that the new story is real. Now here's the beauty of it. Once your mind becomes your ally, life begins to shift in ways you never imagined. Instead of waking up with dread, you wake up with drive. Instead of doubting yourself, you start backing yourself. Instead of running from challenges, you start running toward them, because you know they will only make you stronger. You no longer wait for external motivation, because the fire is already lit inside you. You no longer look for validation, because your mind tells you every day, you are enough. Think of the possibilities. What could you achieve if your mind stopped fighting you and started fueling you? What goals would you chase? What risks would you take? What dreams would you finally allow yourself to pursue? The truth is, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not as wide as you think. Most of the time, it's only as wide as the distance between a limiting belief and an empowering one. Change the belief, and suddenly the gap disappears. That's why the journey to success, happiness, and fulfillment isn't about controlling the outside world. It's about mastering the inside world. When your mind is against you, even small obstacles feel impossible. But when your mind is with you, Even big obstacles become challenges you're ready to face. Your circumstances may not change overnight, but the moment your mind becomes your ally, you begin to see those same circumstances differently. And that shift changes everything. So here's the challenge for you. Stop letting your mind work against you. Stop letting it replay the old stories of failure, doubt, and fear. Start writing a new story, one where your mind is your coach, not your critic. One where your mind says, yes, you can. Yes, you are ready. Yes, you will. One where every thought you think pushes you closer to the life you deserve. Your mind is the most powerful ally you'll ever have, but only if you choose to make it one. The decision is in your hands. Your mind has been your constant companion since the day you were born. It has witnessed your first steps, your first victories, your first heartbreaks, and every single moment in between. But the important question you must ask yourself is this: has it been guiding you like a friend or trapping you like an enemy? Too often, people don't realize how their own thoughts become the biggest walls holding them back. They blame circumstances, they blame the economy, they blame other people, but the real war is not outside, it is inside. And unless you win that war, no amount of external success will give you peace. Think about how many times your mind has stopped you before you even began. You had an idea, a spark of excitement, a dream worth chasing. But before you could take the first step, that little voice whispered, "Who do you think you are? You'll never make it. You're not good enough." And just like that, you gave up without even trying. That is not failure caused by the world. That is failure caused by your own mind acting as an enemy. One of the biggest weapons your mind uses against you is fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of change, fear of being different. Fear has a way of sounding logical. It says things like, "Be careful, you don't want to embarrass yourself," or "Maybe now is not the right time," or "Play it safe, don't take risks." And because the voice of fear feels protective, we listen. But here's the truth. Fear is not there to stop you. It's there to challenge you. Fear is simply a signpost that says, here lies growth. Every great person you admire has felt fear, but instead of letting it paralyze them, they used it as a compass. Where there was fear, they knew there was a chance to expand, to learn, to evolve. When your mind is your ally, fear stops being a prison and starts being a guide. Another trap your mind sets is comparison. With social media, it's easier than ever to measure your life against someone else's highlight reel. You scroll through your feed and see people your age or younger who seem richer, happier, more successful. And instantly your mind tells you, you're behind. You'll never catch up. You're not good enough. But this is a lie. Life is not a race. Your path is your own. When your mind is your enemy, comparison crushes you. But when your mind is your ally, comparison inspires you. Instead of saying, they're ahead of me, your mind says, they've shown me what's possible. If they can do it, I can too. The same situation, but a completely different interpretation, because the ally looks for possibility while the enemy looks for limits. And then there is doubt, the silent killer of dreams. Doubt creeps in quietly. The moment you decide to take a step forward, it whispers, but what if you fail? What if you're not smart enough? What if everyone laughs at you? And many people let doubt win before they even begin. But here's what most people don't realize. Doubt is just a thought, not a fact. And thoughts only gain power when you feed them. When your mind is your ally, doubt doesn't disappear, but it transforms. Instead of what if I fail, you start asking, what if I succeed? Instead of what if I'm not ready, you ask, what if I already have everything I need to begin? That small shift creates an entirely different future. So how do you make that shift? One of the first tools you have is the language you use with yourself. Words are powerful. Every time you say, I can't, I'm tired, I'm not good enough, your mind records it like a command. But the opposite is also true. When you say, I'm capable, I'm growing, I'm stronger than I think, your mind begins to believe it. The brain doesn't know the difference between truth and repetition. It learns by what it hears most often. This means you must be intentional with the language you use. Speak to yourself like you would to a friend you love. Replace criticism with encouragement. Replace judgment with patience. Replace doubt with belief. Over time, these new words carve new pathways in your mind until positivity becomes the default setting. Another tool is focus. What you focus on expands. If you spend your energy focusing on problems, you will always feel stuck. If you focus on opportunities, you'll feel empowered. Imagine two gardeners standing in front of their gardens. One sees only weeds and says, "This garden is hopeless." The other sees the same weeds but focuses on the flowers and says, "This garden can be beautiful." Which garden will grow? The one where attention is given. Your life works the same way. If your focus is on what's missing, you feel lack. If your focus is on what's possible, you feel hope. And that feeling pushes you to act. That's how focus turns your mind into an ally. It directs your energy toward growth instead of despair. And then comes belief. Belief is the root of everything you create. What you believe about yourself becomes the lens through which you see the world. If you believe you are weak, you will notice every reason to stay small. If you believe you are strong, you will find proof of your strength everywhere. Your beliefs shape your reality more than your circumstances ever could. And the beautiful truth is, beliefs are not fixed. You can change them. You can choose to believe in your worth, your strength, your potential, even when you don't see evidence yet. That belief, practiced consistently, starts to create the evidence you seek. But turning your mind into your greatest ally isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. Every single day, you will face a choice. Will you feed the voice of fear or the voice of courage? Will you focus on what's missing or on what's possible? Will you listen to the story of limitation or the story of power? These choices may feel small in the moment, but repeated over days, months, and years, they shape your entire destiny. A single negative thought repeated daily can destroy confidence, but a single positive belief repeated daily can rebuild it. So the next time your mind says, "You can't," pause and ask, "Is this my enemy speaking or my ally?" Because you always have the power to decide which voice to believe. You can train your mind to stop criticizing and start encouraging. You can train it to stop focusing on fear and start focusing on possibility. You can train it to stop doubting you and start supporting you. And when you do, life doesn't suddenly become easy, but it does become possible. The doors that seemed locked begin to open. The dreams that seemed too far away begin to feel within reach. And slowly, one step at a time, your mind transforms from your greatest obstacle into your greatest ally. Your mind is like a powerful engine, but here's the problem. Most people don't know how to drive it. Imagine being handed the keys to the most advanced car in the world, capable of incredible speed and distance, but you've never learned how to steer it. What happens? You either don't move at all, or you crash. That's how most people live their lives. They have the most powerful tool, the mind, but they let it run wild, untrained, undirected. The result is chaos. But when you learn to guide it, when you learn to direct its power with clarity and purpose, that's when everything changes. So what does it really mean to turn your mind into your greatest ally? It means creating an inner environment where your thoughts serve you instead of sabotage you. It means training your mind to push you forward instead of pulling you back. It means shifting from being a prisoner of your thoughts to being the master of them. And this transformation doesn't come through luck or chance. It comes through daily practice. The first practice is awareness. Most people are completely unaware of what their mind is saying throughout the day. They live in a constant stream of unconscious thoughts, most of which are negative, repetitive, and outdated. If you listen closely, you'll notice that your mind often repeats the same old fears, the same old doubts, the same old criticisms, like a broken record. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. You always fail. People won't accept you. It's like carrying a bully in your head 24/7. The first step to change is to notice this voice. Awareness is like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what's been controlling you all along. The second practice is choice. Once you notice the voice of negativity, you must choose whether or not to believe it. Just because a thought appears in your head doesn't mean it's true. Thoughts are not facts, they are suggestions, and you always have the power to accept or reject them. This is where most people go wrong. They automatically accept every thought as reality. But when you start saying, "No, I choose not to believe that," you begin to reclaim control. And with every choice, you weaken the grip of the enemy voice and strengthen the ally within. The third practice is replacement. It's not enough to reject negative thoughts. You must replace them with empowering ones. For example, if your mind says, "You'll never succeed," don't just fight it. Replace it with, "I am capable of figuring this out." If your mind says, "You're too late," replace it with, "I'm right on time for my journey." If your mind says, "You're not good enough," replace it with, "I am growing stronger every day." Over time, these replacements rewire your brain. Your ally becomes louder than your enemy. The fourth practice is action. This is the bridge between thought and reality. You can think positive all day, but if you don't back it up with action, your mind won't fully believe you. For example, you can tell yourself, "I'm confident," but your brain won't accept it until you take a step that requires confidence. You can tell yourself, "I'm disciplined," but your brain won't accept it until you show up and do the hard work even when you don't feel like it. Action is proof. Action convinces your mind that the new story is real. And the more you act, the stronger the ally inside you becomes. But here's something important. Your mind doesn't change overnight. It has years, maybe decades, of conditioning built into it. You might have been told as a child that you weren't enough. You might have failed in the past and carried that failure into your identity. You might have been surrounded by negativity for so long that it feels normal. Reprogramming takes time. It's like training a wild horse. It doesn't become obedient in one day. But with patience, repetition, and persistence, even the wildest mind can be tamed and turned into a source of incredible power. Think of athletes at the top of their game. Their physical ability is extraordinary, yes, but what really sets them apart is their mental strength. They train their minds to see challenges as opportunities, to see failures as lessons, to see pressure as fuel. Where others crumble, they rise. That's not magic, it's training. They have turned their minds into allies that drive them forward instead of enemies that hold them back. And if they can do it, so can you. Your mind can be a powerful ally in building resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after setbacks. Everyone falls, everyone fails, but not everyone gets back up. When your mind is your enemy, failure feels final. It says, "See, I told you. You're not good enough. Give up." But when your mind is your ally, failure feels like feedback. It says, "Okay, that didn't work. What can we learn? How can we improve? How can we come back stronger?" The same event, two completely different interpretations. The enemy says stop, the ally says keep going. Your mind as an ally also strengthens your focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, social media, constant noise. When your mind is untrained, it chases every distraction, leaving you scattered and unproductive. But when your mind is your ally, it says, "Stay here. Focus on the task, one step at a time." It becomes your protector from distraction, your guard against wasted time. That level of focus is a superpower in a world where most people can't go 5 minutes without checking their phones. And then there's confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from external validation, money, or status. Real confidence comes from within, from knowing that your mind will stand by you no matter what. When your mind is your ally, you don't need others to constantly reassure you, because you reassure yourself. You don't need everyone to believe in you, because you believe in you. And that belief radiates outward, drawing opportunities, respect, and trust. The truth is, turning your mind into your greatest ally is not just about achieving goals. It's about freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from doubt, freedom from the limitations you once accepted as unchangeable. When your mind is your ally, you stop being a prisoner of your own thoughts and start being the architect of your destiny. You wake up every day with clarity, energy, and direction because you know your mind is working with you, not against you. So ask yourself right now, what would my life look like if my mind supported me instead of sabotaged me? How much further could I go? How much stronger could I become? How much more fulfilled could I feel? The answer is infinitely more. Because the moment you turn your mind into your greatest ally, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you from becoming the person you were meant to be. There will always be moments when life tests you, moments when your mind feels heavy, when progress seems slow, when nothing goes according to plan. In those moments, the difference between giving up and pushing forward depends entirely on whether your mind stands with you or against you. If your mind is your enemy, every obstacle feels like proof that you should quit. If your mind is your ally, every obstacle feels like proof that you're growing stronger. The event doesn't change, your interpretation of it does. And that interpretation decides your destiny. Let's talk about resilience. Resilience is the ability to keep going when everything inside you wants to stop. It's the ability to stand back up after you fall, not once, not twice, but as many times as it takes. Without resilience, even the smallest failure feels crushing. With resilience, even the biggest failure feels temporary. And where does resilience come from? It comes from the mind. When your mind is your enemy, it says, "This is the end. You're done." When your mind is your ally, it says, "This is just a chapter. You're not done yet." That single shift keeps you moving forward when others stop. History is filled with stories of people who turned their minds into allies and used resilience to achieve the impossible. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. If his mind had been his enemy, he would have quit after the first few failures. But his mind was his ally, and it told him, "Every failure is not a defeat, it's a discovery. I'm not failing, I'm learning." That mindset created one of the most important inventions in human history. Imagine if he had stopped. Imagine how different the world would be. That's the power of a mind that chooses to support rather than sabotage. Another key ally your mind can give you is discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood as punishment, but in reality, it is freedom. Discipline means your mind has learned to prioritize what matters most over what feels good in the moment. When your mind is your enemy, it says, "Skip the workout, sleep in, procrastinate, waste time." But when your mind is your ally, it says, "Do the hard thing now, so the future becomes easier later." Discipline is your mind standing guard over your future, making sure your actions today align with the person you want to become tomorrow. Without discipline, dreams remain fantasies. With discipline, dreams become reality. And then there's responsibility. When your mind is your enemy, it convinces you that everything wrong in your life is someone else's fault. You blame your parents, your boss, your circumstances, the economy, even fate. But when your mind is your ally, it teaches you the most liberating truth. No one is coming to save you. You are responsible for your own life. That may sound heavy, but it's actually empowering. Because if your life is in your hands, that means you also hold the power to change it. Responsibility transforms you from a victim of life into a creator of life. It makes you the driver, not the passenger. Gratitude is another gift your ally mind gives you. When your mind is against you, it only sees what's missing, what's broken, what's wrong. But when your mind is with you, it opens your eyes to what's already right. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It means remembering that your problems don't define your whole life. There are always blessings, always lessons, always things worth appreciating. Gratitude turns scarcity into abundance, turns frustration into peace, turns routine into joy. It's a perspective shift that changes not just how you see your life, but how you experience it. Contribution is also part of the journey. When your mind is your ally, you stop living only for yourself. You realize that your growth has value not just for you, but for everyone you touch. You become someone who uplifts, who encourages, who inspires. And here's the beautiful part. When you contribute, when you give, your ally mind grows even stronger. Because contribution gives meaning to everything you've endured. Your struggles don't just help you. They become a light for others walking the same path. That sense of purpose makes your ally mind unshakable. Now let's address one of the toughest parts of this journey, setbacks. No matter how strong your mind becomes, life will still knock you down. You will still face disappointments, betrayals, and failures. The difference lies in how you process them. An enemy mind says, "This is proof you're not good enough." An ally mind says, "This is proof you're alive, proof you're trying, proof you're pushing limits." An enemy mind makes you quit after rejection. An ally mind makes you try again, smarter and stronger. The events are the same, but the interpretations change everything. Let's imagine two students taking an exam. Both fail. The first student's mind is an enemy. It says, "See, you're stupid, you'll never succeed." That student gives up. The second student's mind is an ally. It says, "Okay, this is feedback. You didn't prepare well enough. Next time, you'll study differently." That student grows and eventually succeeds. Same failure. Two minds, two futures. Which one will you choose to be? Your mind as an ally also builds courage. Courage doesn't mean you're never afraid. Courage means you act despite the fear. And that comes from the inner voice that says, "You are stronger than you think." Fear is temporary. Growth is forever. When your mind supports you, fear becomes fuel. You don't wait for it to disappear. You move with it. You move through it. And eventually, it loses its power. Here's the truth. No external enemy will ever be as dangerous as an internal enemy. The most destructive battles are the silent ones happening in your own head. But here's the good news. No external ally will ever be as powerful as an internal ally. When your mind becomes your greatest ally, nothing outside of you can break you. You become unshakable, unstoppable, and unbreakable, not because life is easy, but because your inner world is strong. So understand this. Resilience, discipline, responsibility, gratitude, contribution, courage, these are not just abstract values. They are the tools that your ally mind hands you every day. They are the armor that protects you, the compass that guides you, and the fuel that drives you. And the best part? They are already inside you. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to beg for them. You don't have to borrow them. You just have to train your mind to use them. Your life changes the moment you decide to stop being your own enemy and start being your own ally. Because once your mind is on your side, there is no obstacle too great, no failure too final, no dream too big. The outside world will still test you, but the war inside will already be won. And when that war is won, victory on the outside is only a matter of time. Think about the life you've lived so far. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because your mind whispered, "Not now, not you, not possible"? How many dreams have you buried because the voice in your head told you they were too big, too unrealistic, too far out of reach? How many times have you stood on the edge of growth, ready to leap, only to step back because your own mind pulled you away? This is not just about the past, it's about the future. Because if your mind remains your enemy, the cycle will continue. But if you choose, right here and right now, to make your mind your ally, everything ahead of you can change. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your destiny. It will either guard the door and keep you trapped in the same patterns, or it will open the door and guide you toward the life you've always wanted. The choice is yours. No one else can make it for you. Not your family, not your friends, not your mentors. You. Only you decide whether the voice in your head becomes your prison guard or your freedom fighter. So let's make this real. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the best version of yourself. The version of you that wakes up with energy, that goes after goals without hesitation, that speaks with confidence, that walks with purpose. That version of you exists. It's not a fantasy. It's not a dream. It's waiting for you. And the bridge between who you are and who you can be is your mind. The moment your mind becomes your ally, that version of you stops being a possibility and starts being a reality. But it won't happen if you only listen to this message and then do nothing. Motivation fades if it isn't followed by action. Right now, you need to take the first step toward training your mind. And the first step is awareness. For the next 24 hours, pay close attention to the voice inside your head. Notice when it discourages you, when it fills you with doubt, when it tells you to quit. Don't judge it, just notice it. That awareness alone will shock you, because you'll realize how often your enemy mind tries to control you. Then, the second step. Every time you catch the enemy voice, stop and replace it. Replace I can't with I can. Replace I'm not enough with I am growing. Replace I'll fail with I will learn. Do this consistently, and you'll feel the shift. Slowly, the enemy voice will weaken, and the ally voice will grow louder. It will feel unnatural at first, but remember, you are reprogramming years of conditioning. With repetition, it becomes your new normal. The third step, take action that proves your ally voice right. If your ally mind says, you're disciplined, show up and do the work. If your ally mind says, you're confident, take the risk you've been avoiding. If your ally mind says, you're strong, face the challenge head on. Each action becomes a vote, a piece of evidence that reinforces the ally within you. Over time, your mind will stop doubting and start believing. And here's the most important part. Never go back to being neutral. Neutral minds drift. Neutral minds fall back into old patterns. You must make a decision. Either your mind works for you or against you. There is no middle ground. Train it, shape it, direct it, until it becomes your most loyal ally. Because once it does, nothing outside of you can defeat you. Not failure, not rejection, not criticism, not even fear. Remember this. The world is full of people who had the same doubts, the same fears, the same challenges as you. The only difference between those who succeeded and those who didn't is this. They turned their minds into allies. They chose to believe in possibility when everything looked impossible. They chose to keep going when everything inside screamed stop. They chose to build an inner voice that pushed them forward instead of holding them back. And that choice made all the difference. Now it's your turn. You are standing at the crossroads of your future. On one path, you keep letting your mind be your enemy, and you stay stuck in the cycle of fear, doubt, and hesitation. On the other path, you choose to turn your mind into your greatest ally, and you unlock resilience, confidence, and unstoppable growth. Which path will you take? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for more confidence, more preparation, or more time. The perfect moment is now. The ally you need is already inside you, waiting to be awakened. All it takes is a decision. So here's your call to action. Starting today, stop letting your mind work against you. Train it, guide it, reprogram it. Speak to yourself with power, act with purpose, and believe with conviction. Build the inner ally that will never leave you, never betray you, never quit on you. Because when your mind becomes your ally, you become unstoppable. If this message lit a fire inside you, don't let it die here. Carry it forward. Take the steps. Do the work. And then, share this with someone else who needs to hear it. Because the truth is, you're not the only one fighting a battle in your mind. Millions of people are. And together, we can create a world where more and more people stop being prisoners of their own thoughts and start being empowered by them. So here's my challenge to you. For the next week, commit to being your own ally. Every day, for 7 days, catch the enemy voice, replace it, and take action. At the end of that week, look back and see the difference. You'll be surprised by how much progress you can make in such a short time when your mind is on your side. This is your moment. This is your chance. Your mind can either chain you down or set you free. The choice is yours. So turn your mind into your greatest ally and watch your entire life transform.